welcome to another episode of Coffee With. I am your host, Njie, and with me, I have someone very special. Like, he's someone that inspires me, like when he started out and, doing what he does. I was just like, I need to have this guy on Coffee With. He's such an inspiration to us young people. So, I won't tell you his name, but I'll let him do that himself. Tell us your full name and what you represent.
Thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Modou Njie, and I'm the CEO of Farm Fresh, which is an online food store and delivery company based in the Gambia.
Great. So, Modou Njie, do tell Coffee With who was Modou NSZ Njie, and I need to know what this NSZ means. And also, just tell us who you were before you became the founder of this Farm Fresh vegetables.
Thank you very much. Farm Fresh started in 2013. That's when it was officially registered. But we came into active operations in 2014. Prior to Farm Fresh, Modou Njie or MS, I've had over 20 years experience in the ICT industry in the Gambia. Way back in 1997, I was a lecturer trainee at the Gambia Technical Training Institute, lecturing computer science. I was also a former student of GTTI after graduating from St. Augustine's High School. Sorry, I'm giving dates and people are gonna start calculating my age. I shouldn't, anyway. But I started as a lecturer trainee, computer science, GTTI, 97 to 99. From there, I moved on to Continent Bank. In 99, I was the IT manager of the bank. Actually, the youngest IT manager at the time, because I was in my early 20s. And then I went for further studies briefly to the US, and I returned home in 2003, and I worked with the United Nations Development Program, that's the UNDP, as an independent IT consultant for about 2 years. From there, I moved to Deloitte and Touche as an IT consultant as well. I was in the consulting department. I was also in charge of risk and reputation in the consulting department, also for 2 years. And from Deloitte and Touche, I moved on to Reliance Financial Services as the head of technology. That was a year after Reliance was established, around 2006, 2007. Again, for 2 years. 2 years. I don't know why this 2 years keeps following me, but it was 2 years at Reliance. I took a short break, tried to do my own thing, on this, just crazy. I said, let me just set up my own thing, but it was not easy because I really didn't plan it out very well. So I had a 2-year break when I left Reliance. After 2 years, GT Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, offered me a job to head the IT department. So I was head of technology for GT Bank up to 2011. So in a nutshell, this is my track record, prior to setting up Farm Fresh in 2013. That's initial. May Allah grant him Jannah and all the departed souls, inshallah. He really inspired me, so I had to really put his initials there. Officially it's Modou NS Njie, but I added the Z because he was only known, or he was mostly known by his initials in the Gambia, NSZ. If you say NSZ, you know that you're talking of the late Modou Njie. So everyone used to call him NSZ, or wherever you go, if you say NSZ, you know who you're referring to. So as you know, Modou Njie is a very common name in Gambia. There are hundreds of or thousands of Modou Njies. So in a way of identifying myself or letting people know who I am, I had to at least distinguish myself by adding the Z, so that they would really know, oh, okay, it's that Modou Njie. I have friends who have Modou Njies, who are called Modou Njie. So the Z It's a mystery, or was a mystery,
Okay.
when my late father was alive. Up to the point, I used to ask him, "What does the Z stand for? What does it represent?" And he would just smile and say, "I won't tell you until you get married." You know. So luckily, when I got married, he finally revealed it to me.
Okay.
You know, and the Z actually stands for Zachariah.
Right.
So there you go.
Nice. So that's
Yeah.
amazing because
Yeah.
like there's a mystery behind the initiative and the
Yeah.
fact that you've revealed it. It's like wow, okay.
Yeah.
You know, our parents always hold something significant
Yeah.
that's with them.
Yeah.
So maybe that's so pressing.
I mean, yeah.
Modou, tell us what it was like growing up as a young Modou Njie back in the days.
Up in different areas or different places in Bakau or Fajara, depending on where you are. But I go to Safarimang Singade Street. That's where my late father's house or residence is located. With the Sengors, you know, the late George Sengors, Babu Sengor, Alpha. These were my mates or brothers, I would call them. Of course, late George and Babu were a little bit older than me, but you know, we have Alpha, who was almost my age mate. I also lived in Banjul, Long Street, you know, briefly. Latrikunda, Shachitstown, and finally Kotu. We moved to Kotu in 1994. But it was really an interesting childhood. We also lived in Bakau around Wasulungkunda.
Okay.
That's where I was able to pick up a little bit of Mandinka.
Okay.
I'm not fluent, but I can how do you put it in wall of Muna Wasmo that. So, but my Mandinka is not very good. But it was really fun time. You know, we played around. You know, the karkars. You know, I don't know how to say it in English. The used tires, the empty car tires that we would just be riding, you know, with the empty with the tomato tin, put the stick in it, and with the what's that liquid again? I forgot the name, but anyway, just to allow it to slide, and you start riding it. You know, teach touch. You know, we played all those games, so it was really nice and fun. Yeah,
Like
I really enjoyed my childhood. Absolutely.
Yeah, you sounded like a lively child.
Yeah, and trying to do a little bit of hunting for birds. You know, cooking and chasing after the dirimos and all those things. So we did all that.
So was it the rats?
This was the rats, exactly.
Okay.
The rats, not the mice, but the rats.
Okay.
Exactly. I was not a stubborn child, but I was okay, but not the they get over type.
Okay.
But I had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
It's always good to know the person's background and childhood because it always helps because it actually molds you to become who you are today.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about Farm Fresh, and I know you've obviously expanded into other, in aspects of food, vegetables, etc., organic foods. But in the beginning, being the first online, fruits website, fruits and vegetable website, how did that come about? And I know you have a background of IT, so I'm pretty sure that makes a lot of sense, right? Kind of interlinked. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, exactly. As you rightly stated, my IT background has a lot of influence in my decision to set up Farm Fresh. So basically, I just leverage on my IT experience to build an online platform which I thought was in demand and needed to bridge the gap that existed in the agricultural value chain in terms of marketing and distribution of vegetables and fruits. I realized that a lot of farmers, especially the women in the garden, I realized that a lot of farmers, especially the women in the rural areas, lack access to markets to sell their produce. So in order to help them, I approached them and was able to convince them to buy their produce and also market it on our platform. And also this meant that on a weekly basis we would buy their produce. So there was consistency which actually increased their revenue and their income and improved their livelihood. So that was one reason to help the farmers have access to markets. the other reason is that I also noticed that there was a gap in the market. There was a demand for fresh produce, especially by working class citizens and people who are very busy at work and don't have time to do their shopping. So I thought it was very ideal to set up this platform so that they can order online and then we do the delivery to their offices or to their homes. This was the main reason why I set up the online platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very inspirational as well because even though your background was mainly IT throughout your whole life, tell us, what was the search for you to actually go into agriculture? Despite, apart from wanting to help these farmers and gardeners to have a platform, you must have had a reason why you yourself wanted to go into agriculture.
Yes, well, partly it's due to my late father's background also because he was very involved in agriculture. People who know him know that he really contributed a lot towards the development of agriculture in the country. He was head of different organizations that had a link with farmers and helping farmers, like the Food and Hunger Campaign, FFHC. He had a degree in agriculture and he was passionate about agriculture. So we used to have a lot of conversations about agriculture and how it can be enhanced, how the Gambia can use agriculture to develop its economy. Because I also noticed that agriculture is the most important sector in the entire, how do I put it, in the economy of the Gambia, agriculture plays the most important part or the most important role. And I also saw the opportunities that that I needed to tap into in agriculture, in farming, basically. It's a noble profession, although a lot of people look down on agriculture in the past, but nowadays I think people have really seen that it is quite a worthwhile venture. So I thought of it as a good business idea.
So tell us about the challenges that you incurred as well, because I'm pretty sure like every opportunity and every startup, anything you get into, there's always challenges. Tell us a bit about those.
Yeah, obviously, I had a lot of challenges. I still have challenges, but alhamdulillah. When I started, it was just a crazy idea. I really didn't spend time to save up a lot of money or a huge capital, so I didn't have a big savings to start. So access to capital was a problem, was a challenge. But I kind of improvised by doing a lot of the work internally. Let's say the website, I built it myself because I'm a certified web developer. I did some courses in marketing, so I did my own marketing initially. This is the life of the entrepreneur. When you're starting out, you have to start out small, and you have to improvise, especially when you lack access to funds and things of that nature. So access to finance was definitely a huge challenge, but I didn't let it discourage me. The other challenge was that a lot of Gambians back in 2013 were not used to online shopping. A lot of people think I was crazy. They were like, "You're wasting your time. You've left a very good job, comfortable job at the bank as head of technology, and now you're here running around and delivering fruits and veggies, But I always look ahead. I always see, what's ahead of me, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line, not the immediate. So that's what, money is not what drives me, it's not what motivates me. So I had a passion, for this kind of work. So convincing Gambians to go online and shop was definitely a challenge. These are just few of the challenges, but there are definitely more.
There's more.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know that fruits are an important part of our lives, in our diets, etc. Same as vegetables. So tell Coffee With, what are the benefits of the most eaten fruits in the Gambia, and are some of them like easily grown here as well? Because I understand there's a difficulty in growing like grapes, maybe apples, and just others like that.
Okay, first a disclaimer, I'm not an expert in nutrition. I'm not a nutrition expert. but I'll just give my experience based on the fruit I sell, and also doing my own research. We don't only sell the fruits and veg. We also do our own research. We read books. We access the latest information in agriculture, the latest technologies. So we are very much up to date about everything that we're doing, or we're selling, the product that we're selling.
Yeah.
So a few years back, I even started a column in the Standard newspaper. It was called "You Are What You Eat." It was a weekly column, and every week I would write an article, and I will feature a certain fruit or a veg, and I will talk about the benefits, especially the nutritional value. Let's say mangoes, very high in vitamin C, and also you have apples, you have bananas, you have oranges. So things like bananas and mangoes, they are widely grown in the Gambia and easily accessible. But you'll be surprised to know that strawberries can also be grown in the Gambia, and they've been grown by Gambians successfully for the past 5 years. So a fruit like strawberry is very high. It has the highest content of vitamin C out of the lot of fruits that we sell, like compared to mangoes and oranges, even oranges. So we really try to educate our customers and also the public about the importance of eating healthy and staying healthy, because a healthy mind is a wealthy mind, and that's what the nation needs. We need to eat healthy. We need to change our diets so that we can perform better at work and at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on, tell us what's your take on fruit production in the Gambia?
That's a very good question. What I can say is there's a lot of room for improvement in terms of fruit production. To me, it's very, very low. It cannot meet the demand. If you go out there in the local markets, I would say 60, 70, 80% of all the fruits we consume are imported. Apart from mangoes, which are seasonal, things like apple, grapes, strawberry, pineapple, even oranges. 80% of oranges are imported. So I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done to encourage people to get into fruit production, and have orchards, to grow fruits. If you compare it with vegetables are much more organized. You have farmers, gardens, veggie gardens, But in terms of fruits, we have very few orchards. But it's a huge market out there for fruit production. And I would really encourage people who have access to land or plots of land to consider getting into fruit production. Start growing pineapples. People have grown pineapples successfully, strawberries successfully, and even grapes and even apple, not on a large scale, but on trial basis, and they succeeded. So why not? I think the Ministry of Agriculture should also, I know there's a lot of focus on vegetables, but there's very little focus on fruits. So I would really urge them to put more focus on fruits because there's a huge market out there, even for exports. Yeah. So I think one of the things that they need to improve on is to encourage farmers to grow fruits by providing them with the seeds if they're not available. And also, for certain fruits, when they're in season, let's say mangoes, I think it would be wise for them to close the border or temporarily halt the importation of the same, let's say, mangoes. Because during the mango season in Gambia, we have them in excess. But you still have mangoes coming from Guinea, from Senegal and other countries. So for people like the people who are growing mangoes, for them to be more competitive, I think there should be a temporary halt on the importation of mangoes during the mango season, so that the mango growers can really realize a good return on their investment. Otherwise, it becomes very cheap because the imported mangoes would compete against our mangoes, and they're actually cheaper because they are subsidized in other countries that they've been imported from, and that's not happening here. The same applies to vegetables that are being imported into the country, Whenever we have certain vegetables that are in abundance, there should be a temporary halt on the importation of those same vegetables until we consume them, and then open the gates again. I think this is a strategy that would really help uplift or grow the local industry. I mean, let's say encourage entrepreneurs to get into the production of fruits and veggies in a large scale or on a large scale. Yeah.
All right, that sounds promising, and something that I hope watching will actually take on and do. Now we're gonna move on. Coffee Bean is aware of your initiation of farm production, but also tell us how it felt when you won the Seed Stars competition. How did you won that? Because that now has added an extra boost to what it is you're trying to develop.
Yes. Okay. The Seed Stars competition was in 2018. Actually, I competed on behalf of my other company, which is called Money Farm. That's the company that won. It wasn't Farm Fresh. Okay, it's the same person. It's still Modou, Njie, but it was Money Farm that won the local competition.
Okay.
And then we went to Switzerland, where we competed globally with other competitors, over 180 competitors from different countries. And when I won the local competition, I remember we came to Grts. It was a very good feeling because it was very competitive, and what it has done for us, it has given us an added boost in terms of getting the recognition that we really needed, especially internationally. So in a way, I can say that the Seed Stars victory or award has really put us on the world map. You know, if you go to Google and just type Money Farm, or you type Seed Stars Gambia, you will find us there.
Nice. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, if Daddy was still alive, he'd be so proud of you.
Absolutely.
This is something that, you know, he was into agriculture.
Yes.
He made a name for himself in agriculture.
Yes.
And then now his son is in IT and has created something around the same sector. So I know he would be proud.
He would have been extremely proud. Yeah, I really wish he was around to see the modest success that I have registered so far. All linked with agriculture. But as man proposes, Allah disposes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That is true. So we're nearly towards the end of the interview. But then I would like to know, or let's say Coffee Bean would like to know, how do you view fruit production and you know, the exchange in the business, so how it's made, how it's sold during this pandemic? We're currently in the COVID-19 pandemic, and you know, it's disrupting so many people's lives. And even if I don't speak for you, I'm sure that it's created a huge impact on you know, your life and livelihood. So tell us how that has been.
Yeah, it has really affected us. I would say negatively, in a way, because there are lots of restrictions. We are in a sort of a lockdown, so we are well, kind of. But we have restrictions, and it's not a real lockdown, but we have time restrictions. We have restrictions in terms of opening hours. You know, the local markets, they have to close at a certain point. The suppliers, so everything is affected. The whole value chain has been affected. A lot of people have lost their jobs in the tourism industry, and even in the agricultural industry, because it's a chain, it's a network. So if the hotels are not functioning, and they've been buying from these farmers in bulk huge amounts of fruits and veggies, so they don't need, how can they buy these fruits and veggies when they don't have any tourists? The hotels are empty, so they don't have the money. Now the farmers have grown these fruits and veggies. They're stuck with them. They can't find buyers, to, you know, bulk wholesale buyers. They can only sell to petty traders, and you know. But we're talking of tons and tons and tons of vegetables and fruits that have gone to waste, or that are being sold at next to nothing prices just to survive. So the COVID-19 pandemic has affected every aspect of life in the Gambia, and certainly it has affected those in the food business, in the fruit and veg business. It has affected us. We had to close our shop in Bakau for safety reasons. So we have lost our walk-in customers. We're hoping they will come back after the COVID-19. There's no guarantee of that. So you can see there's a lot of negative impact. However, on the flip side, in terms of delivery, there's been an increased demand for our delivery service because we've been encouraging, or the government has been encouraging people to stay at home. So we have stay-at-home packages that's on our platform. Gambians abroad can go to the website and order a stay-at-home package which we can deliver to their loved ones or their families safely using social distancing, wearing a mask and all that stuff. So on the delivery side, alhamdulillah, it has not been that bad. So far, so good.
Okay, Modou, thank you for that. We'll now come to my favorite part of the interview, which is my favorite question, and I'm sure it will be yours because you're one of us too. Tell us your words of wisdom that you have to share with young people in particular, but then, you know, all of the generations that will feel that, okay, what he said today has touched me and has meant something to me.
Thank you very much for that very important question. What I would like to say to the young generation, my age mates and those who are younger, that they have to believe in themselves. They have to believe that anything good doesn't come easy. Success doesn't come easy. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to really work at it. And failure is not the end of the world. Sometimes you can try something out and it won't work out, but you will learn from that experience to improve yourself, and that would lead to your success. So we should never be afraid of failing. We should always be willing to get up again and continue and move on and learn from the experience. We should also focus on our internal abilities. There are a lot of skilled Gambians here. There are a lot of talented Gambians. There's a lot of talent in the Gambia, but we really focus too much on foreign talent, and this is across all industries, whether it's agriculture, whether it's IT, whether it's carpentry, whether it's art, electronics, engineering, tailoring, you name it. There's a lot of talent, and I would also like to encourage Gambians to believe in themselves and to support their fellow Gambians. As you can see, non-Gambians are always supporting each other, so we should always be supportive of each other. And we should also believe that being in the Gambia, despite our small size, one can achieve what Steve Jobs or Bill Gates has achieved. Fine, they are in a different environment, different setup, they have a lot of advantages, but as my good Uncle Abdullah Toure, Uncle Bax Toure would always say, I always quote him, because he is like a mentor to me and he inspires me a lot. Success inspires success, and he always says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has endowed each human being with an average brain size of 2.5 kilograms. So whether it's Steve Jobs, whether it's Dangote, Ali Dangote, whether it's Strive Masiwa in Zimbabwe, Richard Branson, or anyone, they all have an equal amount of brain mass, that is 2.5 kg. So a lot of people in the Gambia or in Africa have this concept that the white man is a wizard, or we can't get to where they got to, we can't invent, we should just rally behind them. We could actually be ahead of them. We have the ability to be number one in the whole world. So in a nutshell, I just want us to believe in ourselves and trust in our abilities, and Gambians should always try to support their fellow Gambians.
So you've heard it for yourself. I must say, Modou Njie, like you've literally said everything that I've been thinking like for days and days and days, and this is because you spoke about originality, you spoke about being yourself, and you spoke about Gambians supporting Gambians, and the fact that you quoted so many of these, you know, billionaires, I must say, you know, like they have so much money, and us young people always look up to them. But we believe that we cannot achieve what they've achieved because they are of a different, you know, skin tone to us. And like Modou has said, we can make it. And this is the whole point of Coffee With. And you know, the reason why I kind of looked at you and nod and smiled is because Modou just said everything. And I was like, perfect, because that's literally what we need to, listen to it and actually get inspiration from. So, I can go on and on and on if I need to like talk about what Modou has said. But if you listen to the interview, you hear what he said. I'm just very, excited about it, because it's like, we still have young people out there like this, like him, to give us this kind of words of wisdom as, words of hope. So I'd like to thank my cameraman and ladies, Ali Bojang, Mariam and Amiso. They're behind the camera giving me these great shots. Thank you to Modou Njie for actually coming. He has a busy schedule in this pandemic, making all these deliveries, but he still made it to the interview. It's been 1 year plus. That's why he has come. Anyways, thank you. And I would actually like to big up Aminata Isanyang, branded AES. Yeah, I'm rocking her outfit and I look super sweet. And yeah, Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you, and I'm signing out.